Hey, it's Gilbite here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to shim a starter. So a lot of people don't realize this, but the pinion here, the gear, that needs to be at the proper distance from the flywheel or flex plate. If it's not, if it's too close, your starter's going to hang or drag. That's bad, real bad. If it's too far away, well, then it can slip out and just not start. Might even take the end off of a tooth or two. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to shim this up. I need a lift. If only it would fit in my garage. There you can see the starter. That's the new one. And the flex plate. It's an automatic. So what you want to do is pull that shaft out, line up so that the gears are meshed, and then you want to measure the distance, see how much play you got in there. So what I do is I got a small metal paper clip, and I just see if that'll stick in there. If that fits, then it's not too tight. If the paper clip is too loose fitting in there, then it's too far away. Hopefully you have a shim or two to take out. All right, so a way to get that shaft to engage is to put power to the battery terminal, the battery connection on the starter, without power to the ignition or switch. That way it won't turn. It'll just extend that shaft so that the gears will mate. And you can measure it that way. Do not keep power to it for more, I think it's 30 seconds. So, don't engage it and then leave it there for any length of time, and you'll burn something up. There's also, by the way, a minimum distance, if I can show it, between the pinion and the flywheel or flex plate that you want to maintain so that they don't interfere with each other. And by the way, you want to check this in at least 3 places on the flywheel or flex plate. This is the surface that goes up against the block. One thing, make sure that this is clean. Obviously, this is my bad starter that I'm replacing, and it's dirty. But make sure that this is clean, and make sure where it's screwing up to on the block, make sure that that doesn't have a bunch of paint on it, because that's the ground. So if it seems like your battery is just not big enough to turn it over or something, make sure you don't have paint on the bottom of the engine block where this goes, because that's where the ground is. Now the shims are like so, and there's actually, well, I got some other ones. So there's a lot of different looking shims, different thicknesses. You might be able to, if you got an old stock starter, like that big old thing there, you probably won't need to shim it, but you'll want to check it just to be sure on these. So I think this one came with that starter, and you literally have to have those in and start the bolts in. So with this type of shim, you can have a bolt in holding the starter in place, then you can slide shims in as needed, and then when you got it how you want it, put that other bolt through and tighten it up. So those are definitely the ones that I suggest you use, and make sure these are also clean, because those will be between. They got to be able to complete that ground. Let's crawl under the car. And so the starter's in, it is shimmed in a good spot. However, look how close that is to the headers. I'm hoping you can see it. So there's the distance between the block and the starter, and then look over and the headers in the starter. So the wire itself, the battery cable, is fine. However, the starter is right up next to the headers. So I'm going to clock it. I'm going to move it towards the block. So on this particular starter, you adjust it, you clock it by loosening those 25 torque bit screws, and then you rotate it. And what you do is while it's under the car and mounted, you rotate it, then you make a line with a Sharpie to where you put it. That way when you take it off, you can then torque it. And don't over torque it. There's special instructions. I'll show you how to do that. All right, it's out. So here's a couple of the popular aftermarket starters. Obviously the stock starter is not going to clock. All right, so this type, it has 3, what are those, Allen bolts in there. You're going to take those out, adjust where you need it, put them back in, torque them to the spec that it says. The Power Master Performance Master Torque, the one I got. I'll have a link in the description. It has an Infini clock. So what it does is it has 2 25 torque bolts. When you move these, do a little at a time. Switch back and forth, do a little at a time. And then this, see how I can now move this? So now I'm gonna crawl back under. Yeah, remount it. So I marked it right there. So the headers are really close. And what sucks is I gotta actually loosen the headers up every time to take this out or in. Okay, 50 inch-pounds, torquing them a little at a time. Now 50 inch-pounds is nothing. Inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. So and it's important that you do a little on both at the same time. I can't stress that enough. I mean, that is nothing. That is so... I want to tighten it up more, but don't resist. Okay. Oh, can I put it on for the last time? Maybe? It's in there, it's clocked, the headers are in position. You can see there's not a lot of room. I would have liked to have had the connections farther away, but even if turning it, because this is where it pivots, that's where the axis in which it turns, that's not going to move away. Only the top, and the top is, while close, it's not touching or anything. So, and I can't get it a whole lot closer to the block, otherwise we'll have the same issue with the block. But that's how you shim it. That's how you clock them. Hope that was helpful. If so, please like, subscribe, comment, and good luck with yours.